r/AskMen. Guys, what's a creepy thing women do that we might be unaware of? It could be stalkerish, creepy, clingy, etc. And we have no clue it's being seen that way. Over-romanticizing a person to which the person in real life and the person in their head are very different people with very different interests. A lot of women I know do this, where they have a continual romantic fantasy about a particular person and don't find anything weird about it. For example, my first girlfriends already had a detailed design of how I am as a person before I even knew they liked me, and then got deeply upset or frustrated when it turned out that I'm not the sweet prince that they perceive me to be in their minds. It's very off-putting. Edit, for the record, I'm well aware that both genders do this, however based on my experience and observation it seems to be something that a lot of young women do that they are unaware of. I get this. I kind of blame all those princess stories from our childhoods where the princess was going to get Prince Charming every time, and the way they would meet and immediately marry gave us the impression that the men of our dreams would walk out of the stories and into the bodies of real people and everything would be puppies and rainbows. Attempting to send friend requests, reach out to any family members of mine on Facebook before I've introduced you in person. I can't believe this needed to be said to an ex of mine. I think friend requesting anyone you haven't met is creepy. I'm looking at you, random friend of my so's brother. Sometimes it is just fat finger syndrome when Facebook suggests people you might know. I've dated multiple girls that block the door during arguments because they know I won't touch them when we're fighting and they don't want the argument to end. Several times I've been forced to keep arguing until 2 to 3 in the morning because my ex would block the exit, knowing she had free reign of my space and I couldn't do anything about it. As an example, my most recent ex once drove to my house during a snowstorm because she knew I wouldn't make her stand out in the cold, and then stayed for 6 hours, with me asking her to leave the entire time. Oh, this is more than just creepy. Yeah, I've come to more properly label it as abusive as time has passed. Given the phrasing of the question though, I think there's invisibility to how it makes a guy feel and thought it was worth mentioning it for the possibility of lack of awareness. Blatant sexy manipulation to make me do things. Some women think they're so clever, bending over, or thrusting their chest at me, while asking me for something in a creepy child voice. Stop. Either you're terrible at this and it's just tiresome, or you're being obvious and don't care and that's just, no. I might help you, sure, but not because you give me a quick brush with the titty. When I was 10 years old, I found the most buttery popcorn I've ever seen in the pantry of my church. So I popped it and carried it outside. While I was walking, this 20-something girl just came up to me and pulled this shit. She had the pouty lips and the childish voice and asked me, "Can I have some popcorn?" I gave her some, but not because of anything she said. When I gave her some, she just put a finger to her mouth and said, "We can keep this a secret, just between you and I." It was pretty uncomfortable. Talking about our sex life in detail. With guys the conversation is, "You hooked up with her? Cool, then we talk about sports." I have heard extremely intimate details of what happened between us from their friends, and this has happened across many years and partners. I had a night with a friend of a friend who I'd never met before. She proceeded to tell my friend most details of it. I knew she probably would, but then my friend told all her friends who I'm also friends with. So my buddy comes up to me and tells me that she'd told their whole group of friends about me and that night, even though she wasn't there. Kinda weird if you ask me. When she frequently goes into too much unsolicited detail about her ex, or brings him up all the time. Seriously, if I'm hooking up with you, the last thing I want to be thinking about is your ex. This has happened with a few girls, all of whom I'd literally only hooked up with a few times when they started doing this. Depends though. If she's just talking about life experiences that happened to have occurred while she was with her ex and he ends up in the story, I don't find that creepy. Especially if she was with him for a long time. Sometimes it's hard to avoid that coming up when someone is your partner for a long time. That women can be oddly comfortable talking about anything to another woman, even if they've known each other for a few days. Seriously, I've known some women that told some serious deep stuff to another woman many would consider an acquaintance at most. That many women can jump from friend to friend and consider them best friends, even though they've known each other for probably 6 months or so. Witnessing women taking selfies of themselves, and the many takes they do to get that one good picture, while being completely oblivious to their surroundings. Women actually only need a few minutes together in a bathroom or a toilet queue and we bond. I've had some amazing connections and deep and meaningful conversations with strangers in this situation. If someone is crying in their forget about every woman surrounds her with support and we all become mother hens. It is odd I suppose, but I also think it's nice. I'm with you on the selfie obsession though. I've got 3 teenage girls and I'm amazed at their ability to disengage and be totally unaware of those around them while they Snapchat. Having a shit of selfies on Instagram. It makes me think that you are full of yourself. It is actually quite unattractive after a while. Eventually I wonder, who is taking these photos? If not selfies, and is she a complete narcissist? Or does she do anything besides Instagram? Seriously. I don't know how the selfie girls and Instagram models have time for anything else. Picture of self like this. Picture of self dressed in this. Picture of self over here. How does anyone find the time? A couple of my exes expected to hang out every night. Not 3 to 4 times a week, every night. This really smothered me. Had another GF that would call me within 5 minutes nearly every day of me getting off of work. Additionally, she required a 1-hour-long phone call at night as well. I don't even love myself that much. I don't know if it's creepy per se, but way too many women ask what I feel to be invasive questions. Particularly about my past flings. Why they ended, what the girls looked like, etc. I'm not into that. OMG. Yes. Hooked up with a girl for a few weeks recently and my ex came up in conversation one day and she asked what happened. I said I didn't really want to talk about it, but she would not let it go. Wanted me to tell her name so she could look at her Facebook, wanted to know why we broke up, was it messy, everything. She wasn't super jealous or anything, just annoyingly curious and unwilling to accept that I really don't want to be discussing that with someone I'm hooking up with. 1. Thinking it's cute to grope, slap ass as a form of flirting. It's not okay when guys do it to you. Treat people the way you wish to be treated. 2. If I just met you I don't want to take Snapchat selfies with you. This might just be a me thing because I'm not big on selfies. Haha, I dated a girl for a month who would get pissed at me when I didn't want to take pictures with her and post them on Facebook. Me and my friends now refer to her as the Black Mirror girlfriend. She couldn't wrap her head around the fact that I don't like sharing much about my personal life on social media. Most of us have hundreds of FB friends and the majority are just acquaintances. It just weirds me out how some people are so comfortable sharing everything going on in their life to all these people. I think you have it wrong. It's not being comfortable with sharing everything, it's needing to share everything. They need people to know how awesome and adorable and random their lives are. It boggles my mind how much people seek validation from other people. Taking pictures for social media. Get mad if I don't want to be in it. Don't like it, just accept a no. I straight up tell my friends and girlfriends I'm considering to never take photos of me without my permission or we can't be close because if you can't respect my decisions we can't be friends. I'm fairly sure it's a conversation with her best friends about me or a crush, hookup, whatever. Something in the lines of, "So, what happened, how big is it?" Yes. This is something that irritated me about my last relationship. Some stuff should just be between me and her, I don't want her friends knowing every little detail about what happens between us. Same boat, girlfriend literally couldn't keep anything I told her a secret. How they already have a plan to change me and mold me into something else when we start a relationship. It makes my skin crawl. So when are you quitting smoking? I didn't even mention wanting to quit, I smoke because I want to, not because I feel I have a habit or addiction I need cured. As a former bouncer. Dealing with women who think they have sexual control over all they meet. And them pushing their cleavage together and talking in a cutsy breathy voice would get them into the club without ID, or whatever they wanted. It makes several assumptions when women do this. That men are controlled by their sexual needs, that they have little self-control, that I can't see right through their bullshit for being the shallow manipulation tactic OT is. Taking everything you say in the absolutely worst light possible. You have no idea what's going to offend someone next. Better just to be quiet. This is my ex. She could take a genuine compliment as an insult. It was honestly impressive the way she could turn anything into a personal attack. You like this? So you don't like the other things I wear for you? You're so not supportive of me. It's like we are so used to relentless and continuous streams of positive feedback that any interruption in the constant stream of affirmations is taken as a direct personal attack. On top of that, the emotional commitment to politics or a TV show or a celebrity means anything you said about that is also now a personal attack. Because women are typically less threatening than men, it seems like some women feel they have license to be very forward sexually, in a way that can be considered creepy. "I'm attracted to you, so I'm touching you a lot" type of stuff. This also happens a lot if you're an attractive gay dude. When in my 20s I was more fit and attractive, and this happened a lot. Women thinking it's okay to goosh you, smack your backside, cup your package, or otherwise do things which would get any guy arrested if he did it to a woman without being invited to do so, because *tee, isn't this funny? He's totally gay and not interested. Ha ha, no, just no. I'm not a fucking sideshow curiosity. I broke up with my last 2 girlfriends because they couldn't keep anything a secret. I would tell them my deepest feelings, a family tragedy, or something else very private, ask her to keep it between just the 2 of us, then a day later she had told her best friend and then told her best friend and so on. Until I find out from a coworker who doesn't even know her, but knows a friend of a friend. So women's irresistible urge to gossip. Facebook stalking. We're fully aware that this is creepy. I don't think it's creepy. I see everyone do it these days. Touching my beard. There's an expectation from most females that I will just let them get all up in my personal space. My dad always had a glorious, manly beard. Random strange women would come up to him in the grocery store and, mesmerized by its awesomeness, shove their hands deep into it, stroking and cooing at him as though they were lovers. My dad is scared to hell of women because of this, and has shaved the hairy beast clean off. 'Twas a curse! Treating animals like children. I don't want to be around a girl who dresses up a dog and takes 20 pictures of their dog a week. Taking 20 pictures of a child a week is equally creepy. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe for more Reddit stories like this.